Hey everyone! Today, we'll be reviewing and testing the Japanese strike fighter plane F3 and the fighter plane ATD-X. These are currently the newest aircraft in the game, and they're the two main VIP items for this month's Battle Pass. Let's start by looking at the stats of the F3. The maximum durability of this plane is 7,150. You guys probably think that this aircraft is now more durable than the J-25, but you're wrong. In case you guys didn't know, in the recent update, the developers increased the durability of aircraft in exchange for a reduction in their damage. Here are the current stats of the Su-75 and J-25. As you guys can see, the J-25 remains to be the most durable VIP aircraft with much greater and more impressive durability, while the Su-75 gains only slightly more durability than the F3. The maximum normal speed of this aircraft is 98.6 knots, which makes it a little faster than the J-25. However, it only has a maximum afterburner speed of 115.5 knots, which is a little slower than J-25. So the J-25 is still the fastest strike fighter plane in Tier 3. The F3 has maximum maneuverability of 104, which isn't as impressive as the maneuverability of the J-25, but it is a bit better than the J-31 and Su-75. It also has the usual 16-kilometer radar range, a maximum aviation reserve of 15 pieces, and finally, it has the usual squadron size of 3. As for its armaments, it's equipped with an AAM-5 missile, a JSM missile, an HCM missile, and a railgun called SCRA. The SCRA can score 1,000 damage points per projectile, and like every aircraft cannon in this game, it also has infinite ammunition, but it has a magazine that carries only 11 rounds of ammunition. It is a much more powerful gun than the gun used on the J-31 and J-25, but its overall damage is still lower because of the short amount of ammunition that its magazine carries. The HCM missile or the hypersonic cruise missile can score 15,000 damage points per missile, which is a little less than the Highcore missile of KF-21. The aircraft also only carries 2 rounds of ammunition for this type of missile. The JSM missile can score 9,000 damage points per missile, and it has 4 rounds of ammunition. The AAM-5 is an air-to-air missile, which can score 1,100 damage points per missile, and it has 16 rounds of ammunition. It isn't as great as the missile used on J-50 and MiG-41, it's only a little better than the F-22 Raptor. Now let's take a look at ATD-X. The maximum durability of this plane is 4,290, which is slightly better than the MiG-41, but it isn't as good as the J-50. The maximum normal speed of this aircraft is 106.1 knots, which is faster than J-20, and it's slightly slower than MiG-41. However, it only has a maximum afterburner speed of 130.4 knots, which is slower than J-20, and slightly slower than MiG-41. The ATD-X has maximum maneuverability of 143, which is now the greatest maneuverability for a fighter plane. It also has the usual 16-kilometer radar range, a maximum aviation reserve of 18 pieces, and finally, it also has the usual squadron size of 3. As for its armaments, it's equipped with a GAU machine gun and an AAM-5 missile. The GAU machine gun is the same machine gun used on all fighter planes in Tier 3. It can score 50 damage points per projectile, and it has infinite ammunition, but it has a magazine that carries only 20 rounds of ammunition. The AAM-5 missile is the same missile that the F3 carries, and both will evidently have the same amount of damage, and have the same amount of ammunition. Now, I'll be showing you guys the tests I did for these two aircraft. I conducted numerous tests on these two aircraft, and some of the tests yielded different results when redone. So keep in mind that the tests that I'll be showing to all of you guys are those tests in which the aircraft achieved its best record for the test. I'll start by showing you guys the test for F3. The first test I did for the aircraft is the spot test. This test will show you guys how much spotting range the F3 has, and how quickly the F3 can spot the target that is 10.8 kilometers away from my ship. As you guys saw, F3 has a spotting range of 3.3 kilometers, and it will take 20 seconds for it to bring its target within its spotting range. The second test I made is the survivability and damage test. This test will show you guys how long the F3 can survive within the range of the air defenses of the enemy ship, and how much damage it can inflict on the enemy ship before the whole squadron is shot down. The ship I used as a target in this test is a fully upgraded USS Vela Gulf that is equipped with a fully upgraded Thel and Panzer. Here, F3 showed that it can survive for 53 seconds before its entire squadron is shot down by the target's air defenses, and it can accumulate damage points of over 284,000 within that time frame. For comparison, here's how Su-75 and J-25 would perform in both tests. Now I'll show you guys the test I made for the ATD-X. The first test will be the spot test again. The spot test will be the same as before. It will show you guys how much spotting range the ATD-X has, and how quickly it can spot the target that is 10.8 kilometers away from my ship. As you guys can see, the ATD-X has a spotting range of 4.6 kilometers, and it will take 15 seconds for it to put its target within its spotting range. The second test will show you guys how effective the ATD-X is in destroying the Russian bomber Pakta. Here, the ATD-X was able to destroy the bomber in 16 seconds, and it took 4 rounds of missile and 1 magazine of the machine gun to destroy it. However, I made a mistake here. The ATD-X should have destroyed the bomber in around 12 seconds, but I went too fast that I outran the bomber. The turn added 4 seconds to the time before I was able to destroy the bomber. So the result here should be around 12 seconds instead of 16 seconds. The third test, which is the last test, will show you guys how long ATD-X can survive within the range of the air defenses of the enemy ship. The ship I used as the target in this test is the same ship I used in the test of F3, and it's also equipped with the same air defenses. In this test, ATD-X showed that it can survive for 35 seconds before its entire squadron is shot down by the target's air defenses. For comparison, here's how the MiG-41 and J-50 would perform in the 3 tests. Here are the results of the test for F3. And here's for ATD-X. The F3 proved itself to be a good strike fighter plane, because it showed a really good performance in the tests that were on par with the J-25 and Su-75. The only problem with this aircraft is that it's slow at inflicting damage, because its main armaments, which are its missiles, reload very slowly. If you encounter enemy ships with good air defenses, you'll probably be shot down before the aircraft can deliver the maximum amount of damage it can do. If you also stay at a distance where the enemy's air defense can hardly reach you, your missiles will have a higher chance of being intercepted or flared. However, this problem will only emerge if you fight well air-defended ships such as cruisers and aircraft carriers. The F3 shouldn't struggle against destroyers. It should be very lethal on them as they're less air-defended, and they mostly don't have a durability that is as good as cruisers and carriers. So if you're using this aircraft, always fight the destroyers first before fighting the big ships. The ATD-X isn't an extremely powerful aircraft, but it has proved itself to be a good fighter plane as it does a fairly good job in its role. Its performance is just as good as the MiG-41 and J-50, but it has excellent maneuverability that allows the aircraft to evade attacks more effectively, hence improving its survivability. This is why it took longer for the aircraft to be shot down despite having lower durability than the J-50. So all in all, these two aircraft are certainly worth getting. That will be all for today. Hopefully you guys liked this video, and if you all did, Please leave a like and subscribe to support me. Thank you so much for watching.